Drone video that I did, a circle video. I'm getting pretty good at flying my drone, I think, and this is the completed meter base with the two 200 amp disconnects, and it's ready to be inspected. So hi, this is Comet Troy coming to you from Linden Camp, located 5 minutes southeast of Linden, Tennessee. I have a different hat on today because it's February 1st. It's down into the 20s. We got some freezing rain yesterday when I'm recording this section for these videos. These videos were actually recorded back in October of last year, so I'm just adding some additional color to it so you can see some of the pretty ice on the trees behind me. So now this video is actually part of a 4-part series. The first part is putting in primary electrical trenching for RV sites. The second part is connecting up the service for the meter base and breaker panels and all the circuits and all that. The third part is going to be running the actual RV sites and getting those hooked up. And then lastly, the last part is having the local electric company come on out and actually energize everything. So pretty exciting. This is our second video of 4 in our underground RV electrical service that we're putting in here at Linden Camp. If you haven't seen the first part yet, I recommend you go up and watch that first before you watch this one. 3 and 4, parts 3 and 4 are linked down below. If you want to get to those easily, just go down into the description. We're going to be talking about some terms, primary, secondary, transformers. And if you haven't heard those terms before, I've linked a video up here on the top where you can go and where I explain what primary is and secondary and transmission lines. I'd recommend you go and watch that first before you watch this video, just to get familiar with the terms. If you're already familiar with the terms, then carry on. So let's get right to it. Now, before we get started with the step-by-step process to build a power panel, I just want to say that this is the first power panel I've built, and there's a lot of lessons learned of things I would do differently. So watch this video, and then I'm going to, at the end of the 4-part series, I'm going to make a final part. I call it a bonus video where I'm going to talk about lessons learned, and I'm going to link that above here in the video. If it's not linked there yet, then it means I haven't made the video yet, so stay tuned for it. Hi, this is Comet Troy coming to you from Linden Camp, 5 minutes southeast of Linden, Tennessee. And today is day 5 of a infrastructure build-out project. We started on Monday afternoon. I don't know, it must have been about 1:30, I think, or so. The crew arrived on site and started trenching the electrical primary. Here it started out over there on that end, and they came down through here past my RV and got about halfway down. And then Tuesday consisted of trenching the rest of the primary ditch all to the way to the end, probably close to 520 feet or so in total, 3 feet deep, 3 feet wide. And then Wednesday consisted on laying the primary pipe down, the 3-inch Schedule 40 conduit, the entire length of the primary ditch, and also digging 3 trenches to the service where the panels are going to be and the meter bases. So that was accomplished on Wednesday. And then Thursday we had the inspector out here. We had the inspection from the local utility company to come out and inspect the primary conduit going down 500 feet down the length of the property, and then the three crossovers that went from the primary ditches up into where the meter bases are going to be. There's going to be 3 services installed So the inspector from the local utility came out and inspected that, passed it. We ended up covering up, the ditches for the most part. And then on Thursday, we spent a lot of the time laying septic, the sewer lines. So you can see the first septic line behind me here. So that's going to be for the lean-to area next to my shop. And that's where the septic pipe is going to enter into the shop when I finally, get to build that. And then goes all the way down to where the guys are working behind me and putting the final connection to the tank. Today's also exciting because my electrician is arriving on site. They're on their way to build the service panel. So once that's built and connected to the primary or the service conduit, then we can have the state come and inspect the service, and they'll put a sticker on it. And then at that point, that report will be submitted to the local utility company. They'll come out and set a transformer and wire it all up, and I'll have some more permanent electricity beyond just the temporary power pole here at the beginning of the road that I've been using since June. I think it was June. Yeah, June is when I came out and hooked that up. So after I move off of this site, down further, deeper into the property, then I'm going to keep the temporary pole by the road and probably put it out at Harvest Host and, let people come and stay for, one night. That's how Harvest Host works. It's not meant for a squatter, but, for someone who's just coming through and just needs a place to park overnight. That's how Harvest Host works, and that's what I'm planning on using, my existing temporary pole over here for. So let's go down and see what's going on with the guys. After I released episode 1 of the 4-part series on RV park electrical service, I realized I hadn't really shared or communicated, my design of what we're going to be looking at here. So we're literally at a 10,000 square foot view here. Well, drone video, we can fly up to 400 feet. That's our FAA limit. But so this is about a 400 foot view of the entire Linden Camp property. You can see the front 5 acres or so that we've already cleared and we're working on. And then that goes into what I call the South Thumb and the North Thumb, or the South Fork and the North Fork. So that's the remaining part of Linden Camp. Also on this picture, you can see where the RV lifestyle influencers, celebrities are. They're in the top right-hand corner here. So I just wanted to put that on here for reference. So when we talk about RV park electricity, it's kind of a complex thing, and I'm going to try to do my best to explain it in simple terms. So on the far right here, you see McGee Road. It's a county road, albeit a small county road. Sometimes I don't even know if I can get my RV down it if another vehicle is coming towards me, but I digress. So what we have at the road is 14,400 volts of high voltage single phase electrical primary wire that goes down the road. So what we're doing is we're going to connect right into that primary wire that goes down the road. No transformers, none of that. It's just a direct connect to the primary wire that goes down the road. And we're going to run that primary wire underground from the pole at the road down the first 500 feet of Linden Camp here toward the back. Once we have that primary wire in the ground, the 14,400 volts, we can plop transformers in where we need them. So the first transformer is going here, and it's going across the driveway, and it's going to go to a power panel that we're going to be talking about in this episode, episode 2. And from that power panel, we're going to connect in RV and EV sites that need power. Now, the transformer that we're putting in here on that 14,400 volts essentially steps that voltage down to 240 volts. And the 240 volts actually goes underground across the driveway to the power panel, and more specifically the meter base. There's a 400 amp meter base that will meter the electricity, and then out of the other side of that meter, it's going to go to two 200 amp disconnects or breaker panels. It's got a 200 amp breaker on the top, a main breaker, and then a series of, I think I have boxes that take 30 circuits. So one 200 amp service on the left will be able to distribute 200 amps of service. The breaker box on the right, or distribution panel as it's more technically called, will also have a 200 amp main breaker, and then circuits that can be distributed out to the RV park. Now, the first phase here that we did last October is just that first power panel and the RV sites that would, in that area. This year, so all that work happened pretty much last year. This year, we're going to plop another transformer on at the location towards the back on that same primary wire. So the same primary wire will come into the first transformer, go to the second transformer, and then again it will cross the road with 240 volt service wire underground, and then come up into a second service panel located about here. We also are going to run conduit. We're not going to run the wire in it yet. In fact, there's no wire in the second area yet anyway. That's going to be a future build. But we're still going to run the conduit from the second transformer location to just past that cleared area in the RV park. And the reason we're doing that is we want to be able to be up and running in the first 5 sites here, the first 5 pull-through sites in the front part of Linden Camp, and have paying customers in there that are generating some income, so we can put that back into the park to develop later phases. So when we decide to develop the rest of the park, we can simply tack on to where the conduit ends at the back of the park here, and we can go left in a southerly direction and bring that 14,400 volts to the south finger. And then we can go the other direction with the 14,400 primary wire, 14,400 volts in the primary wire through the north fork to the back of the property. And we can add more transformers at will where we need them. Now, the general rule of thumb that I've heard, and you can do your own due diligence and trust but verify, is after you come out of a transformer, you don't want to go more than 300 feet. So, to cross the road here for where our transformers are is approximately about 30 feet. So from our power panel, we want to try to reach everything with 270 feet. So this front area is 500 feet. We'll have 2 transformers there providing service. So we'll be able to nicely reach all of the endpoints, as I call them. And endpoints being, RV, temporary power panels, perhaps some EV stations, maybe Wi-Fi routers that are in the park, and we're bringing an electrical, or we're bringing a utility shed on the property, so that's going to need some power. So having the nice high voltage backbone of 14,400 volts going from the road to the back gives us plenty of capacity to build for now and build for the future. So the first step in building a power panel is to have something to mount it to. In our case, we used 10-foot 6x6s that were treated. We augered some holes into the ground, and we put 2 in, and then put those posts in and ran a unistrut between the two posts. So let's take a look here at augering some holes. I know it's exciting stuff, but I got video of it, so here it is.
He's got a video.
All right, we're gonna dig the first. We're starting the post for the service.
Are we going? We're not going with that angle. With that post going there? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're 8 feet.
Well, this post.
That one in, though.
Well, you're right. This post needs to be moved in.
So it's 5 feet. I should put my meter on the opposite end. It's not gonna be middle. It's gonna be about 3 foot. Right now you can start back. Here you go.
After the posts are in the ground, the next step that we did here at Linden Camp is we ran unistrut, or the electrician ran unistrut between the 2 posts and mounted their breaker panels, on that unistrut. I don't have video here of them actually doing it because a lot of things were going on that day, and I just didn't get video of it, so I don't unfortunately have anything to show. But you'll see what how the boxes look, and how they're mounted in the rest of the videos. So step 1, put the post in the ground. Step 2, put the unistrut in and mount the boxes. And then obviously they connect them together with a little piece of conduit too between the meter base and both of the disconnects. So that's step 2. Step 3 is running the wire, 3 wires from the meter panel to each of the distribution boxes. There's one on each side, a 200 amp on the left, a 200 amp on the right, and then the meter base is in the middle. That's where the power from the utility company is going to come into through the meter base, and then to each box. Now there's 3 wires, so in 220 volt service you have 2 hot wires and a ground. I'm sorry, it's not really a ground, it would be called a neutral wire. And there is a separate ground that is installed that actually goes to, guess what, the ground. So it's a common mistake to call the middle wire of a 220 service a ground wire. It's not really a ground wire. We finished trenching the primary 2-inch conduit yesterday, got it inspected yesterday morning, started covering it up. My electrician is out here today wiring the 400 amp service pedestal. As you can see here behind me, there's a 400 amp meter that goes in the middle, and then there's 2 200 amp distribution panels on both sides that will run our RV circuits and EV charging stations. So we're hoping to get that inspected on Tuesday, and hopefully we'll be energized later next week. So wish us luck. Now when they run the 3 wires from the meter base to each of the panels, one of them is the neutral, and they actually they took white tape and wrapped that around the neutral wire so it can be identified as not a hot wire. So you'll see that in the video as well. You may hear a term called bonding or bonded, and what that means is that the neutral wire from the service and the ground wire that goes into the ground are bonded together or connected together, and that's done at the meter base. As you know, as you can see in the videos, the ground wire and the white wire with the tape around it, you know, go to the same block, and you know, that's called bonding. They're, you know, the ground is bonded to the neutral. So just wanted to just, you know, make that clear of you know, what the word, you know, bond or bonding means. Push it. Interestingly enough, there's no ground wire that comes out of the breaker panels. So those, you know, get the grounding from that neutral wire, because it goes in and mounts to the box, and also, you know, from the unit strut that it's attached to. I'm not sure if that's exactly right, but you know, it looks like, you know, in my case, that there's two cases or two paths to reach ground, you know, from the actual boxes themselves in the unit strut, and also through that you know, white wire that's you know, wrapped, or the wire that's wrapped with white tape that's also connected to the ground block inside the meter panel. So, you know, that's a couple levels of safety there. So I'm not an electrician. I'm not sure I quite got that right. If there's an electrician watching this video, please comment below and let me know if I understand this correctly. And again, I'm not an electrician, so you need to do your own due diligence. Trust but verify, you know, what I'm saying here. You know, that's basically what it takes to make an electrical service. So once that's all done, the ground wires are in, the wires run from the meter base, you know, to each of the panels. The panels are mounted correctly. There's unit strut mounted, you know, behind the panels, and also there's unit strut on the conduit below the panels to secure it. Then it can be inspected. So, you know, one of the things that you need to have inspected in the state of Tennessee is any electrical work. So the state electrical inspector for your county will come out. They'll inspect the electrician's work, or, you know, if you did the work yourself as a landowner, which you can do, you know, he'll inspect that as well. You're of course responsible for getting your own permits. But once it's inspected, they will put a blue sticker on the outside of the box with their signature and the date, showing that, you know, that it's been inspected by the state. And then they'll also notify the electric company that they've inspected it, so that the electric company can come out and electrify it. Now in this video I said 220 volts a lot. You know, I don't know if it's 220, 240. I hear some people say 220, 240. Some people say 110, 120. I put a meter on it one time to figure it out. I just don't remember what it is. But pretty much the same thing, just a little technicality in the terms. So your mileage may vary. So here's a drone video that I did, a circle video. I'm getting pretty good at flying my drone, I think, and this is the completed meter base with the two 200 amp disconnects, and it's ready to be inspected. So that should be happening any day now. Well, looky here. We got some inspection stickers. The state inspector was out here. Everything passed with flying colors. And now we're ready to, you know, ready to have the power company come and hook up power. So that's going to be in episode 4. And if that's, you know, linked up here, then it means I've already created it. You can click on it. On the next episode, episode 3, is going to be actually hooking up some RV sites to this new panel. So let's stick around for that and go check out that video. Again, I've linked it above here if I've already made it. If not, then I just haven't made it yet. If you enjoyed this content, click the like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and ring the bell too. And I will see you in the next video.